Good afternoon, YouTube. Today was a pretty good day. Pop and I went out to Gatlinburg and did the whole touristy thing up in that direction. And make no deny about it, there's a lot of touristy things to do up in Gatlinburg, and it can be downright crowded. In fact, last year I went to Gatlinburg for my birthday, and conveniently today is the 19th, which is Father's Day here in 2022. And then yesterday was the 18th, which was his birthday. So happy birthday, Pop. And with that in mind, in my birthday in 2021, I went to Gatlinburg and kind of did the exploration thing and ate at a nice restaurant, which is the same restaurant we visited. So yesterday, let's see, what did we do yesterday? Yesterday we kind of took a day off and just did the whole, toss a coin, if it happens, it happens thing. And, Pop was able to make a connection with an old buddy and went and visited that person. And that was kind of cool. Now, the day before that was really awesome because we had gone to, let's see, what did we get the day before that? Yeah, we did the Cades Cove thing. And the previous year in 2011, I also did the Cades Cove thing, but I had a different intent in mind. Now this year it was, hey, take a couple pictures, go around, look for wildlife, look and appreciate the scenery and the drive up there or what have you, and that was glorious. But the year before that, I did the Abrams Falls Trail, which was really spectacular. So I'm going to go ahead and let, myself take over from last year. So good morning, everybody. Yesterday was really a fantastic day as far as exploring and getting a chance to see the mountains and the mountain railroad, or roadways and such. And I really enjoyed my time. I started off pretty early, headed out at 8 o'clock in the morning is when I headed out yesterday, and saw some wildlife on the way, and I think I'm posting some pictures right now as we speak on that. And my intent was to go to Cades Cove to do the Abrams Falls walk. And so I drove all the way out to Cades Cove, which was a good scenic route. You should probably see that also playing here in the background as well. And really great country roads, side roads, mountain roads. You're essentially heading up and down the sides of the mountain, running by creeks and streams. And pretty much at some point you can't even tell you're going up unless you actually just look at the stream to see which direction the water's going. And other times, it's pretty obvious you're heading way up there, especially through the main mountain pass here in the Great Smokies. And so you're following 441 as you head to the right on the Tennessee-North Carolina border. You are right there at the top of the area. Again, really fantastic trip. Now, when I got to Cades Cove, I go to the little visitor center there, which is just a little outpost, and I see that Abrams Falls Trail is closed. I'm like, what? Oh no, that's why I came all the way out here, was to do that walk and into that trail run. And I talked to the ranger, and she says, oh, it's open today because today is considered the federal holiday, it being the 5th, 4th of July on Sunday. The feds are recognizing that holiday on the Monday itself. So there you go. So I was able to walk that trail. Now, the trail up there is pretty nice, and a lot of ups and downs. If you are not prepared for a hike like that, don't do it. Also, I saw a lot of people in flip-flops. I do not recommend flip-flops. It will slow you down, and there's a risk of injury. You're going to want to wear some sort of at least a sneaker or hiking boot. I say sneaker, a tennis shoe, cross-country shoe, that kind of thing. High tops, and give yourself some ankle support because there's a lot of terrain that'll wreak havoc on your lower extremities there. And it is a lot of climbing. When I say climbing up the trail and down the trail and through this rock area, and all, it's been done for us. So a lot of it's been like areas where there's a lot of rock and such. Those rocks have been paved out for us to walk on or cut out or what have you. And I can see my water's boiling yet. Getting there. And when you got there, it was a big, fantastic reward. In fact, I'm going to turn it over to myself to let you see how that played out. This is Abrams Falls. To get to Abrams Falls, you have to go to Cades Cove, go halfway through the drive, the perimeter area of Cades Cove, and then once you find the Abrams Falls Trail, it's about a 2.5 modest hike, 2.5 mile modest hike to these falls. Now, when you get here, it is very, very rewarding. Some people choose to take a swim in the pool area here, and it's about waist deep for the average person. Obviously, you don't want to get too close over there. They've had some drowning incidents and what have you. But yeah, it's a pretty popular area. Now, here's the thing. Currently, there's somebody going for a swim as we speak. Currently, Abrams Falls is under renovation, and they happen to open it up for the holidays. So, with that in mind, if you plan on doing this hike, they are under renovation. Keep that in mind when you decide to come up here. But absolutely a gorgeous, breathtaking hike. It was a little challenging. It would be a little challenging for some. But yeah, for this chunky butt, it wasn't too horrible. So again, make sure you check out Abrams Falls. What are my plans today? Well, after I enjoy my coffee, that is good and strong right there. So after I enjoy my coffee, I'm probably going to do the touristy thing. Probably going to go out and have breakfast this morning, and then go out and explore the area, take some various photos or what have you. There's a couple of stops I wanted to make, one of which is on the Blue Ridge Parkway. I wanted to stop by the visitor center and check out the grist mill, and then check out the time, see what there is, and go ahead and maybe make a drive all the way up to the various stopping points on the trip up to the main point on the mountain range here, at least on the drive up on the 441, the main drag, and maybe stop by where the lookout area is at the Tennessee and North Carolina border, and take some photos. And there's a couple of little gaps and outlooks I'm going to take pictures of and what have you that are just absolutely scenic. It's a clear morning, so I'm expecting some really good photographs. It should be a little bit chillier up in that area too. Unfortunately, because it is summer, I will be combating with tourists and other such. Of course, I'm a tourist, but it is going to be a little bit more crowded, so that's part of the gig. And then at lunchtime, I'll probably, I do need to get some work done on my studies and such. So I do need to probably go to lunch, try to probably find maybe an internet location or a hotspot where I can get that work taken care of, etc. So those are my basic plans for the day. This is one of the most spectacular views that you can see here at the Great Smokies National Park. Now behind me is the newfound gap road. That's why I hear all the traffic. But right here is one of the gaps. And as I was reading some of the info footage, they were talking about, or I was reading about the forest. See, a lot of the forest that you see in the Great Smokies is relatively new forest. A lot of the old trees don't remain, except for a few of them. So when they turn this into a national park, a lot of that new greenery was allowed to flourish. But some of the old trees still reside here, and they are quite large. Some of the largest specimen that you could find anywhere on the globe. Absolutely fantastic views. This here is one of the views off of the Roaring Fork Nature Trail. Now the Nature Trail has a couple of different highlights on here, one of which is Grotto Falls, and there's another falls as well. that's well worth it. Now, the nature trail is a paved trail designed for people on their automobiles, and it is an absolutely spectacular series of views up into the mountains, very slow paced. It's about 3-ish miles, I want to say, or what have you. And although it's 3 miles, a lot of steep grades and what have you, absolutely fantastic, fantastic set of greenery. And I can imagine what this would look like during the fall. Absolutely spectacular. So I'm going to keep on heading this up. If I see anything else that's worth getting out and stopping for, I'll make sure I make a note of it. So I don't know if you saw it or not, but there were a couple of bears that had crossed the path a little bit ways back, and hopefully I got it on camera with the front of the GoPro here, and I know I got a shot here on my other camera. So here's those pictures, by the way. So close you can actually get out and touch it and reach it. You can see my rear view there, and then I'm going to zoom on in. But I wanted to stop and take a picture of this spot because it is absolutely fantastic view. I know the GoPro doesn't even do it justice on how beautiful and gorgeous this spot actually is. Well, good morning. It is our last day, or Pop and myself's last day here in the North Carolina area, Cherokee, and the Great Smoky Mountains. It's our last full day, and we're just kind of taking it easy today, enjoying the last parts of our vacation, if you will. Yet again, good coffee. Now, last year, I had a chance to really explore and explore the area, and it was a great exploration. I had a chance to not only explore Cades Cove and other areas last year, but this time around, I had a chance to walk up Clingmans Dome and then went to Gatlinburg and kind of had a lunch down there, and then, which I didn't document because hello, it's lunch, right? And then went to the car museum, and I didn't get any video, but I did get a couple of photos, and I'm going to have those playing here shortly for y'all. One of the things that I did last vacation that I really enjoyed on my last day was I took the day to kind of just sit in the truck and just travel around the area on the roads. So one of the things that I did was went to the Blue Ridge Parkway, went all the way out to the Balsam Mountain Overlook. And if you don't know, that's the highest point in the Blue Ridge Parkway. And it was really a great opportunity to stop and take some photos on the way and what have you. Now, on the way back, I went to Balsam Mountain Road, Heintooga Road, which is an unimproved road that takes you up the ridge of the mountains and the mountain range, and then puts you back down Big Cove Road, which is one of the main roads in this area to this campsite. So it worked out really conveniently. And I'm going to go ahead and play those segments and then give those thoughts with that. So I'm going to let myself
take over from
This
here.
morning I decided to head up to Clingmans Dome, and that's one of the unfortunate sides about planning your trips is you can't necessarily plan on the weather. In fact, when I planned this vacation, I had no idea that a tropical storm or hurricane would be coming through the area where I live. And so right now that's what my home community is dealing with as Tropical Storm Elsa makes its way through the Big Bend area. And unfortunately there's nothing I could do if I was there. We would lose power. My yard is fairly pruned, so I'm not worried about trees or what have you. And so, you know, there's not much I could do even if I was there. So I decided not to cancel my vacation. With that in mind, my thoughts and my prayers are definitely with my home community, as many will be without power and some will be in flood-prone areas, and I hope things go for the best. Fortunately, the structure of the storm isn't huge, and we're not expecting a lot of flooding rains like we had with Tropical Storm Debbie, and we're not expecting a lot of those stronger winds like we had back in 2004 with the hurricanes that had passed through that hurricane season. So I hope all goes well. But right now I'm going to head on up to Clingmans Dome, and for those that haven't been to Clingmans Dome before, it is a fantastic drive up there. Not only are you going through 441, what they call Newfound Gap Road, but you head off to Clingman Gap Road, and then from Clingman's Gap Road, it's about 9 miles up the road, and it's a fantastic view as you are really coming to some of the highest roads this side of the Mississippi. In fact, the mountain which Clingman's Dome sits on is and the Clingman's Dome is the mountain which the lookout sits on, is one of the highest points this side of the Mississippi. So I look forward to that little half-mile hike up the trail. I did this when I was younger, so we'll see if I'm any healthier than I once was. But yeah, it's a little bit overcast. I got some clouds rolling in, part of the gig, and they're rolling in pretty quickly here. So I'm going to try to get some photos and see where things take and lead us. As you can see, it's kind of cloudy up here at Clingman's Dome and the observation point here. But if you look closely at the video, you can see the clouds kind of wasping through the area here. And only peaks, when I say peaks, that can't see the peaks, but you can kind of get glimpses or peaks of the various mountain areas. But yeah, nothing today. I didn't think the view would be that good, especially when I saw the weather when I woke up this morning. But still, it was a good chance to make it up here. Well, that was fantastic. The hike compared to the one to Abrams Falls, night and day difference. Obviously, this is a paved trail as opposed to the more nature-like trail. And yeah, everything went good. For those who are more fit or less fit, depending on your person, yeah, it wasn't too horrendous. There are areas to stop on the way, so don't give up. It doesn't seem that bad at the end once you get there. All right, so definitely well worth it. And of course, the trip back down is much easier. If you want to do anything to prepare for the trip, you know, maybe put that treadmill on a 10% incline and just walk that for a little bit. If you can do that successfully, then you should have no problem with this trail. Unfortunately today, the weather did not cooperate, and the clouds and the sprinkles were definitely in the area, which is an unfortunate side effect of things. But this was well worth it because it is the highest point in the Great Smokies. Obviously, Mount Mitchell's a little bit higher than this point is, but that's some distance away, and I would love to make this trip again on a clear day, and maybe there'll be a chance for that in the distant future. Now, Hollywood star cars, pretty interesting. A few displays had changed since I visited it last year. So it was interesting to see some of the new vehicles this time around. It was something that Pop wanted to do, and it was really kind of cool because, he watches a lot of movies, and I watch a lot of movies, probably where I get my love for film at. Now, I haven't been watching as many films as I had in the past because of the things I have going on. But yeah, good chance to see some of the vehicles. Some of the highlights, of course, for the car guys out there. We had an Eleanor, and I say an Eleanor because I don't know if it was used in the movie itself or if it was a replica or if it was used in scenes from the movie before it got destroyed. We had, let's see, there was the Flintstones mobile, a lot of Barris creations and Barris customs. Who those that don't know, Barris made a lot of the Hollywood cars for movies and for the stars and what have you. Let's see, you had some of the Fast and the Furious vehicles up there, and one of the rides from the first Avengers movie, the opening sequence when Loki comes in and starts creating havoc. You had, what else did you have there? Oh, the Ghostbusters machine. And then I took a picture of the DeLorean from Back to the Future, and I took a picture of the backside, but because of the lighting, it didn't turn out well. And the reason I took a picture of the backside was because I wanted to show that that was from the first Back to the Future movie, not the second one, because as you know, the second movie had Mr. Fusion on the back of it, and this one did not have that. In fact, if you go check out the same cars in Hollywood Studios, Universal Studios in Orlando, and Universal Studios, they had the Mr. Fusion, so that's from the second movie. So this was from the first gen movie. So there were some other highlights and such as well. So if you get a chance to go to Gatlinburg and you're looking for something to do, it's definitely worth the trip to walk around in there, and make sure you stop and read the information. Don't just look at the car and go, oh, that's pretty, click, move on. Look at the information, digest it, absorb it. Really, really cool stuff. What a way for the vacation to kind of start winding down. And I say winding down because I still have one more day left, and then travel day, which is unfortunately the other part of vacationing. So with today's events, it was really awesome. I had a chance to wake up. I slept in a little bit, not too horrendously, and went and had myself some breakfast in downtown Cherokee. By the way, if you're ever in the area, Pete's. Go to Pete's famous pancakes and such, right? Good stuff, good service, all right? And the food is quite tasty for the area. So I highly recommend it. It's just good home, just mountain food, good stuff. And then after that, I decided to hit up the Blue Ridge Parkway and make it all the way to the Richard Balsam Overlook. And the trip there is fantastic. The Blue Ridge Parkway is one of the most scenic, most amazing drives that anybody can go on. And I highly recommend going on there when it's not a busy day, because there's hardly no one on the road besides some motorcyclists and some other people, right? Definitely don't go on the Fridays because it's going to be severely busy. So I took some really good photos, and it was absolutely just amazing. And I took some photos on the way and on the way back, and it was really a good, fantastic experience. I'm probably showing those in the video stream as we speak. On the way back from the overlook, of course, I made some photos, or stopped to take some photos. I had a chance to stop in the parking lot for the Water Rock Knob Overlook. And it does have a spot where, just like the way to Clingmans Dome, there's a half-mile paved walk. But I decided not to go on it because, one, I wanted to make sure that I had time to get back to campsite and relax. And two, I had a trip I wanted to go on. And then three, it was a little cloudy, so I didn't want to go all the way up there just to see a bunch of clouds. So the next time I'm in the area, I'm definitely going to try to hit both Clingmans Dome and Water Rock Knob to try to get great views the next time around. Make sure I do them on clear days. And then, as I was coming back, I decided to go forward and do one of the trails that I've been wanting to ride on, and it was not disappointing. I'm going to pass it over to myself, and then I'll be back with you in just a second. So the trip that we're fixing to take right now is one of the ones that were on my itinerary, and the idea was to take some of the off-road paths, and I say off-road, off the normal beaten paths. Now, I only have a two-wheel drive vehicle, so I can't go completely off-road here. You know, I'm by myself, not with a group of people, and I don't want to risk all that's involved with going off-road. However, this is more off the beaten path, and it was one of the options that I had. When I went to Cades Cove, I was going to take the road that takes from the, I believe it's the southwestern side of Cades Cove, try and follow that down to near Bryson City, and then come back to camp. Well, when I got to Cades Cove, that had been blocked off. So I was like, man, that's a bummer. And so I went ahead and did another one of these off of Roaring Fork, and that was a fantastic drive. It was all paved. It was really, really awesome. And now I'm fixing to do the Heintooga Ridge Road and Balsam Mountain Road, and this will essentially lead me back to where I'm camping at. So it's all through the Great Smokies and the National Park, but I eventually expect the road to go from paved to unpaved. And wow, right now I'm watching the clouds roll in off the mountaintop and kind of fall over the mountains. Absolutely breathtaking. So I'm going to put this thing into time lapse and let you guys have a chance to watch it and watch this road as it takes place. And then I'll catch up with you as soon as we finish. Now, I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It's going to be cloudy, it's overcast, or calling for rain in the area. So I'm hoping it'll be pretty clear travels from here. To give you a scope of what it's like here on Balsam Mountain Road, Heintooga Road, this is a one-way, unproven road that runs up the side of the mountain. And I'm going to stick my camera out here and let you get a feel for what it's like here. So we're going to go here for a second. I'm the only one on the road right now. Don't want to go too far off that way. Right. Now, that, I don't know if you can get a sense of the depth here. That's a mild one. Let's go up a little bit further to see if there's something a little bit more, well, steep. Now, because a lot of the areas for the Great Smoky Mountains are allowed to be grown naturally, there is no trimming, no timber cutting, so on and so forth. So a lot of the roads that run up the sides and the views have been obscured by the natural plant life. And so, as you're driving these roads, it doesn't seem that treacherous, but let me tell you, look down. Occasionally, especially when you get to these thinner ones or these ridges where they're closer to the side, and see how close you are, because you are running up the sides of these steep mountains. I don't think the camera here gives it justice. Yeah, absolutely breathtaking views. Now again, it was a little wooded, it was a little high up there, and you couldn't really see out, and I wish we could have. And that's the unfortunate side of the Great Smokies is they encourage no forestation. They don't want any of the trees gone. You know, besides a little bit of mowing and trimming and where the main people kind of go and the tourists kind of hang out. Yeah, other than that, it is unadulterated. And unfortunately, the growth has gone up so much that you can no longer see through the trees in a lot of the places. So a lot of the overlooks are overgrown, which I guess is par for the course. But the actual drive itself was absolutely lush. It was the middle of summer, and I stopped to take a couple of extra pictures by streams or what have you. And it was great to see where the streams, like the stream I'm here at the campsite with, right, kind of originate from. You can start seeing these little trickles, and they go underneath the road, and then they turn into creeks, and those creeks turn into rivers, and so on and so forth. And you can see that whole process on that. Now, again, if you were to do this route, I do not recommend taking a passenger car. Okay, somebody was doing that with our Kia SUV. Fantastic. I'm going to recommend a truck or a higher SUV, and be careful because some of the rocks do stick out, so just be mindful of the path. And because I was so mindful of the path, I did not have a chance to really look to see if there was any critters. I think I ran across a chipmunk. Not run over it, but I ran across it, and that was the only thing I was able to catch. I was keeping an eye out for it a little bit when I could, like on straight paths or around bends where I didn't need to look as much, but that road did require my attention as I was traversing it. So that kind of wraps things up for the day. So what does that mean for tomorrow? Well, tomorrow, and as the sun comes out, it makes my face all white here. Tomorrow, I do have something that I'm going to do by myself, and it is the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad, and I am taking that from Bryson City, the point of origin, down to Dillsboro. It was a trip that I did when I was younger, and I wanted to do again as an adult, and then maybe the next time I'm in the area, I could do some more things. I can kind of travel more, I could see more, I could do more things when I'm up here next time around, because I'm definitely going to be coming back in the future, and maybe I could do the Nantahala Gorge excursion, maybe go check out Water Knob, and then maybe check out one of the different hikes and more of the falls that are in the area, because there's just so much to see that you can only do so much in a few days. So we're celebrating here on a little train ride for Pop's birthday, and I would show you him here, but he's too busy enjoying the view and such as we're traversing to the Nantahala Gorge, and we're on one of the old coal-powered vintage locomotives, if you will, one of the antique ones, fully restored and such. So that explains all the smoke that you can kind of see over here on the screen. But it is an absolute joy. Now understand that, you know, this is something that is not endorsed or sponsored or what have you, know, and so I went ahead and paid the tickets all the way up front. This is coming all out of my thing. So any kind of feedback I give is 100% of my own opinion. And, so far, it's just a good, memorable trip, and I'm going to try to include a couple of video shots here shortly, along with a couple of pictures. So a little reflection for the day and a little gift from Pop here. So that's going to wrap it up for the Mike's Motorworks road trip, other than the part home, which you guys don't care about. You care about being here in the destination. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more of these hobbyist and road trip excursions with you, because that is what Mike's Motorworks is all about, right? It's about doing work for the hobbyist. It's about the helping those who are maybe sort of experts, and whoever likes automotive car culture. And there's just so much in the car culture. I hope to capture it all here on Mike's Motorworks. Thanks for watching.